Hello, I'm Jill, and I love stories. I'm so lucky as I have spent a lot of time over 2024 with many children, just like you, from Anglesey. Together we have explored different places on the island and used our imagination to bring it all alive. Through poetry, through sound, through art. I've learned so much about the way you see your home, and I've included some of it in this story for you. You might want to follow the map as we tell the story and imagine the girl's quest as we go. I hope you enjoy it. It's called The Girl and the White Stones. The beginning. Not so long ago, on an island in the Irish Sea, a girl was in her bedroom. On her windowsill she had a collection of stones, grey, blue, black and shiny, but she liked her white stones best of all. When she was small, her Ninny had told her that white stones from the island had magic inside them. And the girl imagined that if she found enough of the white stones, she might be able to build a tall magic tower from which she could see the whole of the island. She had never seen it all and didn't quite know where all its roads might lead. She looked at the white stones on her windowsill, and they all seemed very ordinary. She tried magic words, but they hadn't moved. She tried magic spells, and they hadn't glowed. So she wondered where the stones got their magic at all. She could no longer ask her Ninny, because her Ninny now lived on a star far away, and the girl had been missing her very much. She did remember a walk up to a well, where her Ninny had thrown white stones into some water, and where they had both felt very happy. So she thought she'd try and find the magic there. The next day she packed some sandwiches and walked up the nearby cliff. The walk was long. She sat on the lovely rock and ate her lunch. She walked some more and came to the well. And there she found a woman sitting down on the grass and writing in a book. "Who are you?" she asked. "I'm a bard," the woman answered. "Ah, what's a bard?" the girl asked. It's a person who tells stories and writes poems and sings songs." She paused. "And why have you come to the well?" The girl explained she wanted to build a tower of magic stones with which to see the whole of the island, but she didn't know how many stones she'd need or how to make the magic work. The bard smiled. "You will only need 3 stones. Seek out the tallest tree on the island. There you will find the oldest owl. She will provide you with the first of your 3 stones." Well, the girl imagined that she would need many more than 3 stones to build such a tall tower, but the bard seemed kind and had no reason to lie, so she set out to find the tallest tree. She went back past the lovely rock down to the shore. There were no trees at all, but there was a mermaid. "Hello," the girl said. "You look busy." "I am," replied the mermaid. "I'm cleaning my home as I want to make a bedroom for my baby." "Oh, can I help?" the girl asked. "Oh, yes, please," the mermaid replied. The mermaid brought cans and bottles and plastic lids and other things from the water, and the girl used an old plastic spade to pick it all up and gather it by the bin. As they cleared, the mermaid said, "I don't see many humans around here. Are you lost?" "Not quite," the girl answered. "Although I do need to find the tallest tree on the island, and I don't know where it is." Well, the mermaid explained that she knew every curve of the coastline, and she knew exactly where the tallest tree was. "I'll take you there." "But we have no boat, and you can't walk on land, can you?" said the girl. "No, but you can hop on my back." And so the girl did. They whirled through the waves and waved to grey seals, and the girl saw villages nestled in coves and the buildings of towns bursting from behind breakwaters. Large ships sailed past them, and tiny boats bobbed in their path. They even stopped to say hello to a sea monster. Before long, though, they arrived at a dense woodland that sprung up from a private beach, and in the woodland one tall tree towered above the rest. The mermaid set the girl down with a smile, and then she disappeared below the surface of the sea. The girl then walked out of the light and into the dappled shadow of the woodland. She heard the call of birds and the scurrying of red squirrels, and loved the bluebells and the smell of wild garlic. And before long she came to the tallest tree. A white owl stared down from one of its branches. "I know why you're here," the owl said. "You seek out one of the magic stones." "Yes," the girl replied. "Can you help me?" And the owl swooped down and shouted, "Follow me!" The girl had to run to keep up with the owl as she flew, flitting between branches in the sky, as quick as the light of the sun. Finally, the owl landed back at the private beach, and there was a perfect white stone where she landed. "This is your stone. Now you need to go to the tower on top of Copper Mountain and find the Goblin Lady. But you must first find your way past the Pethadrug, for it keeps the Goblin Lady high up on the mountain, far from the reach of children." What's the Pethadrug?" the girl asked. "Nobody quite knows what it is," the owl replied, "but it is known to stop children like you from climbing the mountain. But climb you must if you want your second stone." "Well, how will I find this Pethadrug?" the girl asked. "Follow the cycle path," the owl cried as she flew away. Well, should I be afraid of the Goblin Lady?" the girl shouted into the sky, but the owl was gone. The girl looked around and could see no path or bicycles, when suddenly she heard a bell from deep within the trees. She quickly ran again, and this time following the sound. She raced through the woodland, out of the car park, across the cob, still following the sound of the bell. It must have been a bicycle bell, and though she could hear it, she couldn't see it at all. She just followed her ears. The sound of the bell took her across the wetlands, where she saw otters diving between the reed beds and heard the song of the curlews in the sky around her, and she felt as though she had been running for hours when a wild pony stopped her in her tracks. He was chewing some grass. He just stared. "You look tired," he said. "I am," replied the girl. "I'm looking for a cycle path. I can hear a bell, but I can't see the bike." The pony laughed. "You're on the cycle path, dear girl." He looked round. "I can't hear a bell, though. Where are you going?" "I'm trying to find Copper Mountain." The horse chewed some more, and then said, "Wrong side of the island, I'm afraid." The girl flopped down onto the ground. "I'll never find my way," she whispered. The horse swallowed the grass and kneeled down to the ground to join her. He offered her some grass too, but she politely refused. "I think I'll just go home. There's something bad at Copper Mountain anyway, and it doesn't like children." "Ah," said the pony. "Where is home?" It's near Lovely Rock." "Oh, well, I'm afraid you're quite a way from there too." The girl looked around. and realised she was indeed lost, and she began to cry. "Ah, tears," the pony said. "Well, I miss my Niney," the girl sobbed. "She would know where to go." "I see. Well, tears are a sign of great power, so all cannot be lost." Then the pony offered her to climb on his back, which she did. "Right. Left for Lovely Rock, or right for Copper Mountain? Which way would you like to go?" he said. The girl dried her eyes. Right, please, for Copper Mountain, if all is not lost." The middle. They trotted on, the girl and the pony. They passed a huge bridge where he pointed to the mountains across the water, which were once his family's home before they had moved to the island. They passed a great castle too, and lush green fields, and all the while the girl could still hear the bell, but the pony insisted he could hear nothing at all. Eventually they came to a strange place, no longer green and lush, but red and dusty. The girl and the pony looked up to find they had finally reached Copper Mountain, with an old tower standing mysteriously at its peak, no doubt the home of the Goblin Lady. The girl shivered and bent down to whisper in the pony's ear, "Be careful now of the Petha Drog. It'll be around here somewhere." "Right," he whispered. "What are we meant to do now?" "Well, I'm to find the Goblin Lady at the top of the mountain, in that tower, I think," replied the girl, pointing to the top. The pony trotted gently on, trying to find a path up, when suddenly they had a feeling that they were being watched. They looked around to find what looked like a wild black cat, but it was as big as a lion and shrouded in shadow. Its teeth were more like a lion's too, sharp as knives, and it was growling deeply from the pit of its belly. The girl held the pony tightly. Are you the Petha Drog?" she asked. The cat slowly inched towards them, bringing its shadow with it, so the girl and the pony shuddered with cold and fear. And close up they could see the cat's eyes dark as night, and its jaws drooling as it growled. "Some call me the Petha Drog, others call me Cath Pellic. Both mean the same." The pony whispered to the girl through the side of his mouth. What does it mean?" "I think it means something bad, but its name is Pellic's cat," she whispered back. The cat's ears pricked up as it tried to listen to them, and then he became agitated and shouted, "Turn back! Children have no business at Copper Mountain. It's a place for the brave." "I am brave," the girl shouted back. The cat seemed intrigued, as most children simply ran away at this point, but not this girl. "Very well," the cat said. "Answer me this riddle, and I will let you pass." "Oh, I'm rubbish at riddles," the pony cried. "Shh," the girl said, and asked the cat to go on. The cat gave its riddle. "What has a hammer but holds no tools, and rings but has no fingers?" The girl was silent. "Oh, I've got no idea," the pony said. "We may as well just turn back now." And the girl thought long and hard, and then, in the distance up the mountain, she heard the bell again, and knew immediately. "A bell!" the girl cried. The pony was amazed. "Well done!" The cat was just as stunned. It sat down on its hind legs and considered the girl for a moment before saying, "I can't quite believe it, but you may climb the mountain." The girl smiled, and together she and the pony began the long walk up to the top of the mountain, leaving the Pethau Drwg and its shadow behind them. They passed lakes made of orange and copper, and the pony's hooves were red with the dust. Before long, they saw a great crater in the middle of the mountain, with caves and tunnels which seemed to lead off into the darkness. And suddenly, resounding through the crater, there was the sound of the bell again, but this time much louder, echoing right through the tunnels and caves. "Well, now I hear your bell," the pony said. "And look over there. There's someone standing by the tower." The pony began to gallop along the top of the crater, up to the tower. And when they arrived, they met an old woman dressed in a long black dress, like she was from another time, and she wore a shawl around her shoulders. She had a black-brimmed hat with a scarf underneath, protecting her ears. She saw the girl and the pony and gave the warmest of smiles. "Ah, you've arrived. Thank goodness." The sound was becoming quite deafening. The bell-like sound rang again, this time from inside the tower. "Oh, you can stop now. She's here. Hush with your clanging and your banging, will you?" At that point, a tiny little man slowly peeped from behind the doorway with a large nose and pointy ears, and he was wearing a spotted handkerchief tied around his head. He was wrinkled with red cheeks and kind eyes, the strangest of little creatures. The girl climbed down from the pony to take a closer look. "Well," she said, "if you're the goblin lady, he must be the—" "Goblin," the lady said. "He and those like him work deep under the mountain and are not often visible to humans. He doesn't speak, but he does make a noise, banging his tools against the copper when he has something important to say. His sound has been ringing through the mountain all day, as he found a very special stone down there this morning. Not copper at all. Most unusual for this mountain." Then the strange little goblin emerged fully from the doorway, holding the brightest of white stones. He quickly dropped it at the girl's feet, then scurried away down into the crater and away into one of the tunnels. "Oh, forgive him. He's just shy. He'll go back to work now, mining his copper, with the rest of the Cobbler-Nye. But you are nearly finished with your stone collection, I see." "Well," the girl said as she picked up the stone and put it in her bag, "I don't quite know how two little stones, which are supposed to be magic, by the way, are going to help me to build a tower tall enough to see the whole of this island." The goblin lady laughed. "I'm sure they'll do the trick," she said, and went over to the pony, smoothing his mane gently. "Now, you go to your Niney's star, and you will find your third stone." She bent down and whispered something in the ear of the pony, and he smiled. The girl's face dropped. "Well, I don't understand," she said. "How can I possibly reach my Niney's star? I don't have a rocket or wings or the power to fly. I'm just a girl." "Hop on," the pony said. "I know how to get us there, and luckily we'll arrive just as night falls." The girl climbed on, still confused, and they trotted away from the goblin lady, who waved goodbye. The last chapter. They left Copper Mountain and the pony's trot ran into a gallop. This time he didn't stop. They ran past cliffs and lighthouses, right through into the heart of the island, through fields and towns, while the sun set and the sky went dark. Eventually they came to a village sign on the corner of a junction. The moon was now high in the sky and gave just enough light for the girl to read it. It said, "Star." "You must have known about this village," the pony said. "It's where your family come from, apparently." "Yes," the girl said. "Of course. Star, my Niny's childhood home." "That's right," the pony said. "Now let's go and find the chapel. The goblin lady told me to take you there." When they arrived at the chapel, the girl climbed down from the pony, who went to take a drink from a trough of water. There were no street lights, and all around them was dark as the bottom of the sea, but she could see something glowing on a gravestone. She walked up to it, and there she found the most unexpected person. It was the bard from the beginning, who was sitting next to the grave. "You?" the girl said. The bard smiled. "Yes, me," she said. "And I have for you here your third stone. See how it glows?" The girl was mesmerized. "You found the magic," the girl said as she took it in her hand. She took the other stones from her bag, but they still looked very ordinary. "Rub them together," the bard suggested. And so she did, and to her delight, they too started to glow. We needed to be in the dark to see their light. They're quartz stones. All quartz stones glow in the dark when we gently rub them together. "Oh, you mean they're not magic?" the girl asked. "No, I'm afraid not." The bard took the stones from the girl and laid them in the gravestone, where they illuminated some words. "It's an englyn," the bard said. "A short poem from your Niny to you." She looked at the stone, and there was her Niny's name, with some words underneath. "Plant chwilfrydig teithio am filltiroedd. Gweld y ser clir a thir, gyda ffrind annwyl a gwir, bydd y llwybr yn fyr." And then she read it in English. "Curious children travel for miles, see the clear stars and the land. With a friend dear and true, the path will be short." "I don't understand," the girl said. "Well," said the bard, "you wanted to build a tower to see the island, as your Niny told you the stones had magic powers. You passed the lovely rock and came to the well. You travelled the sea with a mermaid. You saw the towns and villages, found the owl and the tallest tree in the woodland. You followed the path to the wetlands, where you finally met your friend, the wild pony." The girl looked over. He was still drinking at the trough. The girl smiled and the bard continued. "You impressed the Pither Drog, met the goblin lady and her goblin on top of the Copper Mountain, and finally, together, you found your way to Star, to me, and to the place where you can now be close to your Niny. Now do you understand?" "I've seen it! The whole of the island!" the girl laughed. The wild pony joined her at her side. "You have," the bard agreed. "And the first stone is the beginning of your story. The second is the middle. And this one, it's the end." The girl did build a small tower in the centre of her island, placing one stone on top of the other, a gift for her Niny at the foot of her grave. Then she made her way home, with the bard and the pony at her side.